defenseman. Monahan parked in front. Docks to Caulfield. Fires. Scores!
You are about to enter Habs After Dark with Recliner Sports.
3, 2, 1, 0.
What's going on, gang? Welcome to the show. It's Devin. We're here for Habs After Dark. A disappointing loss tonight for the Canadiens, but I thought a little bit better of a performance than what we've seen lately, particularly the start. I thought the start was better than what we've seen from the Canadiens of late. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the Toronto Maple Leafs are a pretty good team. They're pretty solid. They're pretty good on both ends of the ice. They're pretty solid defensively. They're good at clogging up the neutral zone. They're good at getting into shooting lanes, and it was hard for the Canadiens to get at the net tonight. It was also hard to beat the referees tonight. In my humble opinion, I thought the referees. I wasn't a big fan of what the referees were doing tonight. It was not. I don't know what it was. I don't know what to call that from the referees, but I think that the Maple Leafs certainly benefited from the inconsistency of the refereeing tonight. It just I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't a big fan of that. I thought that the referees were really pretty abysmal. They weren't very good, if I can just put it that way. They were very inconsistent. The inconsistencies appeared, at least on this occasion, to favor one team over the other. In this particular case, that is the... why is this not working? Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get my graphic fixed up here. I don't know why it's not showing up very well there. Anyways, I thought that the refereeing was not great. Obviously, the shots on goal were hugely in favor of Toronto. However, you'll see when we show you the scoreboard, the other stats were not necessarily against the Canadiens. They certainly held their own as far as scoring chances and attempts on goal and all that stuff. So let's get to the comments right away. There's quite a few of you already commented. If you're not yet subscribed, guys, please do so. We're trying to grow the community here. We're trying to get as many people as we possibly can. The more the merrier, the better. So if you're over on TikTok, guys, I see there's 10 of you over on TikTok. If you want to get the full experience of the show, see the graphics, whatever, come on over to YT. All you got to do is go to Recliner Sports 4, and we're over here. So Cosmo says, Big Leafs win. Blue Jackets are knocking at the door. I don't know if I would say the Blue Jays are knocking at the door. That was a big win for the Leafs. It guaranteed them a home ice advantage. So, I suppose it was a big win for them. But I don't know that I'd go as far as to say that the Blue Jackets are knocking at the door. The Blue Jackets will have to win all 3 of their remaining games, and the Canadiens will have to lose both of theirs. Not an ideal situation, obviously, but it is what it is. Habs will clinch with Demidov's game-winning goal on Monday at home versus Chicago. Yeah, I mean that would be the fairy tale story, I guess, wouldn't it, Morgan? Should be interesting to see how things go on Monday. If you're not yet subscribed, Cosmo, come on and join up. Gary Conway, I'm old. This is not good for my heart. Yeah, it's a little too close for comfort right now, Gary. It'd be a lot nicer if they would just finally and, for once and for all, get it out of the way. But it is what it is. You told me Vanya was coming. You had no idea, Gando, but you did say he was coming. Randy N., what's up? Hey, Devin, missed most of the game. Is H-I-N-G closer to a playoff spot? Yes, they're inching closer to a playoff spot. Yes, they are. They are indeed, Randy, getting closer and closer. Kartik Sharma, Demigod should be on PP1 starting Monday and replace Slav. It will give Hudson left side and right side. Again, I think a lot of people don't really understand the degree of chemistry and how hard it is just to insert somebody out of nowhere into a power play. I don't think you're going to see Demi Dov on the number 1 power play. I think you'll probably see him more likely on the number 2 power play to start things out. He may work his way into that over time. But again, I don't see him, jumping right into a first power play spot. Again, the Slavkovsky hate is real. I don't know what it is, but he's doing just fine, guys. The power play looked okay tonight. The first one looked really good. The second one, not so much. But they were fine tonight. There was no issues with the power play really that much. As far as giving Hudson a left side and right side weapon, he's got Cole Caulfield out there. I don't think I fully understand that comment. So I don't get the 99% odds with Columbus having a game in hand. I know it's negative thinking, but can't see Capitals playing hard tomorrow and Blackhawks backing down to us. I don't know what you mean by you don't get the 99% odds, but the Canadiens are pretty much on the, they're pretty much there. I agree. I don't see, the Capitals hopefully will put a little bit more effort ahead of tomorrow's game than they did today. I don't think they'll be starting their third string goaltender like they did today. They were in a back-to-back and one of their goaltenders is injured, so they had really no choice. Well, they had a choice, but they didn't want to play Lindgren today. Hopefully he'll be back in the net tomorrow. Apparently they're looking at playing Ovechkin tomorrow at home and getting some of those guys back in the lineup. So hopefully that'll make a difference. Today they certainly didn't put up much of a fight. The Canadiens, if they want to really get it done, they'll go out and get it done themselves on Chicago. There's no reason why they shouldn't beat Chicago. And again, it just would be nice if they, could have had a couple games without having to, worry about making the playoffs, and they could have just sort of taken a couple days where they, they didn't have to worry about it. So, A-Team, Gary's prediction is Dobesh, Hudson, Gooley, and Cole. No. What were my thoughts on starting... Oops, wrong button. On starting 2 D-men and a forward for OT. It was interesting, Kartik. I don't know what the plan was there. Obviously starting, Dvorak to win that opening draw is kind of a standard thing. I thought it worked out. They were able to get Suzuki on the ice. Suzuki got a really good opportunity to score. Again, probably a penalty on the play with them dragging him down on the side of the net and taking his stick out of his hands, which allowed Toronto to go back and score the other way. But it is what it is. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see whether that's a plan that they carry on to future games. But we'll see. Great game by Dobesh. Yes. Raymond, not tonight. I don't know what you mean. If Capitals win tomorrow in regulation, the Habs clinch, right? If the Capitals win tomorrow in regulation or in overtime, and I think even if they, they have to win in regulation or overtime for the Canadiens to clinch. Ronald, over on Twitch. Welcome, Ronald. Thank you for joining us. I'm a Leafs fan, and Montreal will be in the playoffs. Well, again, I don't think any of us knows for sure. We certainly hope that's the case. But I guess I don't think any of us could know for sure. But hopefully that is what happens. What's up, Luciano? How are you doing tonight? It's good to see you as always. Toronto refs are worse than Boston refs. Well, the refs aren't really based out of any particular city, Tyler. The refs in the NHL are just horribly inconsistent. The rules are very, very difficult to comprehend, and the referees basically, kind of use the rule book as a guide or a suggestion, and not a rule book, which is unfortunate. Tonight, their inconsistency, I think, certainly favored Toronto. I don't know that they were out there to get Montreal by any means, but the inconsistency of their calls tonight certainly fell on the side of the Maple Leafs. How was Dobesh not the first star? I didn't see the Stars, Luciano. They moved away from the Canadiens game as soon as it was over on Sportsnet, so I didn't get a chance to see it. Tap that screen over on TikTok, guys. If we get another Another 15,000 likes. Maybe we'll do another shot of peanut butter whiskey. Wayne Clark, welcome. Welcome to all the guys who've come over from TikTok, guys, to the YT. We are here. We are talking about the Montreal Canadiens. We're talking about tonight's game with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're all cheering for a Caps win in regulation tomorrow. Yes, we are. Hopefully the Caps can pull it off. It would have been nice if they would have put up a little bit more of a fight tonight. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys, for the likes. I see there's 18 people watching over here on YT. Keep those likes coming if you're not subscribed. For all of you are here are new, please subscribe. That would be amazing, and hit that thumbs up as well. That would be amazing. That would be great. The Canadiens need. They need more than 1 point. Technically, Joe, it's more complicated than that. Devin, I've heard you say several times that plus minus is a bad stat. What are my thoughts? Shots. I don't know that plus minus is necessarily a bad stat. It's just not. It doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell. You've got to look at it. If you're looking at plus minus, you've got to look at other things too, right? What kind of team is he playing on? What does the team's goal differential look like? Is he a -5 on a team that has a plus 50 goal differential, or is he -5 on a team that has a -50 goal differential? Is he, I think the same goes for shots, right? So shots tonight very much favored Toronto. But, things like, scoring chances and high danger scoring chances were pretty even between the two teams. So, again, I think it's, you can't look at any statistic really in isolation by itself. I think you got to look at it in the wider, the grand scheme of things, and look at the entire, picture, right? There's a whole lot of different things you got to look at. So, for me, there's a lot more to it than just the shots, and there's also a lot more to it than just like plus minus. There's they're just one part of the story, right? They're just one aspect of the whole thing, and it's you've got to look a little bit deeper sometimes if you want to if you want to get the whole picture and understand what exactly was going on during the game. So that's my thoughts on plus minus and my thoughts on shots. Kartik, sorry. With Calgary first round pick plus our first round, do you think they should package it and add another player, trade, or a second line center? No, I don't. I think they could package it together and maybe try and move up in the draft. But I'm not desperate to go out and spend huge assets on any players at this point. I think the Canadiens have a lot of players within their organization, and I don't think they're far enough along in the rebuild that they need to be looking at, desperately making trades. The PK was a big positive tonight. I agree with you, Luciano. The PK was probably the biggest positive for the team tonight, in my opinion. I think that was, if you're looking for a really bright spot from tonight's game, I think that would be it. Wendell J, go Leafs go. Yes, the Leafs have clinched a spot, and they're clinched home ice advantage tonight through to the Eastern Conference Final. Is that right? Yeah. So good for them. Good for the Leafs. I think the Leafs look better going into the playoffs this year than they have in some time. So it should be interesting to see how they carry that out. Sammy Mumin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. If you're not subscribed, please do so. That would be amazing. But I think you're new. I've never seen you here before, so it's great to see you. Columbus not wanting to be eliminated is pissing me off. Yeah, well, you got to expect everybody to fight. I think they've got a bit of an uphill battle, but we'll see. We'll see how they get there. We'll see how it happens. User 6 or 959. I don't watch hockey much, but did the Habs need this win for the playoffs? If the Canadiens had won in regulation, user 95, they would have clinched a playoff spot. Yes. Habs aren't making it, says Anthony Boivin. I don't know what that means, Anthony, but Habs held the Leafs' big guns tonight to 1 goal. Yeah, in overtime. They did indeed. They've been able to do that on a few occasions this year against the top players in the NHL. They got to get the PP going. Been inconsistent lately. Yeah, I think the PP probably does need a bit of a boost. It hasn't been that great of late. It's definitely taking a bit of a step backwards. Yeah, we'll have to. I think that probably. What do they say? 7 games in 12 nights. Not a lot of time to practice of late. So we'll see. We'll see. Tough Luff, Dobesh deserved better. We can't go into the playoffs shooting 15 shots a game. Yes, but again, I think the shots on goal is a pretty. It doesn't tell much of the story of this game if you're looking at the shots on goal. Why no Demidov or Jack-Eye tonight? Jack-Eye didn't play tonight because he hasn't played in a while. He's been designated as the guy who they've taken out of the lineup, basically to make space when Caden Gooley came back. Jaden Struble had played quite well, and it was kind of between those two guys, and that was the reason why he's not in the lineup. And the reason why Demidov isn't in the lineup is because he hasn't really been in country long enough. He hasn't really, I suspect he's probably dealing with some jet lag. He hasn't probably had a good enough rest. He hasn't had much time to practice or skate with the team. So they didn't want to put him out there on the ice, especially in a, Saturday night, Toronto Maple Leafs, hockey night in Canada, pressure cooker kind of situation. L Easy, welcome to the show. I think you're new here. It's great to see you. Thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Right here down below, but it's good to see you. Good game. Montreal could upset Washington, but needs some offense. Montreal's offense has been pretty solid. Again, it was a pretty anemic tonight, but I think that probably could be, I don't think it was an indication of them needing. They're averaging over 3 goals a game this year, which is a standard you want them to be over. And the number's been higher than that, certainly in the second half. But yeah, I'm not sure that. The offense will come. Tonight they played against a really good defensive team. The Maple Leafs did a really good job of shutting things down, and typically their offense is not as anemic as that. Kartik says they should put Matheson out or take Matheson out and put in Wi-Fi. That's, I don't think that's a well thought out plan, Kartik. I don't think that would be a very intelligent move by the coaching staff to take out Mike Matheson and replace him with Arber Xhekaj. I like Arber Xhekaj, and I'm kind of back and forth a little bit about whether he should be in the lineup or not. But suggesting that he should be replacing Mike Matheson kind of doesn't understand the role Mike Matheson plays on the team and doesn't really understand the role that Arber Xhekaj plays. I feel like Caps put too much emphasis on 8-9-5 in the playoffs. They might not bring some energy in the first round. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right? Playoffs are an interesting animal, right? And everything changes and should be different, and we'll see how it goes when the playoffs start. Ronald says the 3 stars were Marner, Stolarz, and Tavares. Not sure why Tavares got 3rd star. It should have been Dobesh. Yeah, I didn't see the stars. If that was the case, then I think that's probably, Maple Leaf Garden bias going on there. I don't think that those were the 3 stars of the game tonight by any means, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to get too worked up or upset over who the 3 stars were, guys. What's going on over on TikTok, guys? I see there's 15 of you over there. If you want to join us on the show, come on over to YT. The channel is called Recliner Sports 4. Just open up your YT app and pop on over. Pens 42. The Habs were playing Newhook a lot on their PP. I would honestly take him out and put on Demidov if the PP continues to look disappointing. Newhook plays on the second unit PP. He's probably been one of their better players on that power play. I don't see them taking him off that power play. I think they're more likely to take off Yoel or Nia or somebody like that from the second power play. And I think that's probably where you'll see Demidov start out as far as the power play goes. I don't think it'll be Newhook. Newhook's playing very good hockey of late. He's a bit snake bitten as far as putting the puck in the net, but he's playing pretty solid hockey now. I do have to say, as a Leafs fan, I'm genuinely impressed with how Montreal can play hockey this year. Well, it's they're in a rebuild, Wendell, and they've been building towards this. They've been getting better. They've been developing, and if you've been watching with an objective eye, this shouldn't be anything that would surprise you. The Canadiens have been getting progressively better for the last almost full 3 years now. They've got a good coach, they've got good young players, and they've got a good plan in place, and they continue to follow their plan. So Wayne says, where does Demidov start? Monday night, realistically? Well, I mean, again, now that the Canadiens haven't clinched a playoff spot, I think that changes the dynamic a little bit. I think if they, clinched a playoff spot, I think you'd probably you'd certainly have seen him on the second line. I think you still see him on the second line. How much rope he gets on that second line will depend on how he plays. Obviously, if they'd clinched that second wild card spot, you probably would have seen him get a lot of rope, and they would have, given him probably a decent amount of ice time, and give him an opportunity to go out and get some chemistry and see how it works out with him and Laine and Newhook. Given that they need to win that game now, they need to beat Chicago. I think you'll probably see that rope be a little bit shorter. You'll see, his ice time will be more dependent on the score of the game, how well he adapts and how well he's playing himself. So, again, I think that if, you probably would have seen him get a pretty regular shift if they were already in, and, they would be trying to, work him into it, but, get him into the program and all that stuff. But now I think you're going to see that, the strategy will be a little bit different and will be more dependent on how the game goes. Do I think Jack Guy is in for the playoffs due to his physicality if they make it? I don't know, Wendell. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm kind of surprised he's been left out of the lineup as much as he has. I know they had to make a decision about taking somebody out of the lineup. I'm just surprised that they haven't rotated it a little bit more. Marty St. Louis doesn't appear to be a big fan of that rotation kind of idea. Alexa, turn on the front lights.
Okay.
Whereas, if he takes somebody out of the lineup, he tends to take them out until another change needs to be made, as opposed to saying, let's rotate two guys back and forth. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Tony B, Dobesh, Slav, Gooley, Matheson, no. Peter August, go Habs, go. Yes. Sammy, another question from Sammy. What's up? I just subscribed. Thank you, Sammy. Much appreciated. Am I the only one who thinks Laine is forcing his shot on the PP so much? I know it's good, but sometimes we lose the puck because he forces it. Yeah, I don't honestly see that, Sammy. I don't think he's forcing it too much. You may not have noticed tonight, but a couple of those times when you thought he was shooting on the net tonight, he was actually trying to pass cross crease to Slavkovsky, and the puck didn't get through. I actually kind of feel the opposite. I feel like they're being pretty conscious of not taking that shot unless it's really there. So yeah, I don't see that. I don't see them forcing that play too much. Yeah. So Tristan noticed it, I guess. Yeah, it's, that's a play they're going to have to use, right? Like if he's going to, for that shot to be the most effective, you have to have, different options running through your defenders' minds, right? You have to have them considering the pass, and, the more they're thinking about the pass, the more effective the shot could be. So Yeah. Peter, August, welcome. I think you're new here, Peter, but it's great to see you. Can't believe the negative talk all over about Habs not making playoffs. They are ahead and not chasing. This is the nature of Montreal Canadiens fans, Peter, right? Where, there's a certain portion or a certain part of the Montreal Canadiens fan base that can literally go from planning a Stanley Cup parade to wanting to sell the team over the course of, a very, very short period of time. Sometimes, as short as, 1 or 2 games. So that's just the way it is with Montreal Canadiens fans. Like, a player is a hero one day and a complete failure the other day. Canadiens fans tend to be reactive. They tend to, have a goldfish brain, right? They only remember what happened the last 5 minutes. So you kind of have to live with it. I personally avoid it myself. I call it out sometimes if it's worthwhile. But again, the Canadiens, like I've said many, many, many times, even if they don't make the playoffs, this season has been more than a success, right? Obviously there will be a disappointment there, and if they lose, now by losing their last 2 games and Columbus wins their last 3 games, losing in that fashion obviously will be a very, very tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, if you look back at this entire season, they've accomplished everything they wanted to accomplish and then some. And it certainly is a step forward for the rebuild. So, yeah, I'm not going to get too bent out of shape over any of this, right? I've said many a times before, right? This is the anything the Canadiens do at this point is the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. You've already got the ice cream, you've already got the chocolate sauce, you've got the peanuts, you've got the whipped cream, and this is the cherry. And so, I'm not that worried about it. Savard can't keep up. Yeah, I think that's probably not an unfair statement. I mean, he's still very effective on the penalty kill. He's still very effective in defensive situations when you need, a shutdown situation, late in a game when the game is close, when the other team pulls their goalie, that kind of situation. He's still effective there. But you're right. 5-on-5 throughout the majority of the game. He's definitely lost a step, and he's probably not. I'm trying to see what 12:34 he played tonight. Again, they had to kill 4 power plays, so that meant his time would have been up a bit. But yeah, no, you're right, and I would expect that he probably. I think there's a good chance he retires at the end of this year. If not, I could see him re-signing with the Canadiens at a low price tag and being sort of a 7th defenseman for the team who doesn't play every day, plays every 5, 6, 7 games, spells guys when they have an injury, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I don't disagree that he's kind of getting a little bit behind. What's going over on TikTok, guys? If you're over on TikTok and you want to join the show here on YT. You get the full experience, the graphics, everything like that. Come on over, get in the comment section over here. We got 21 people watching over on YT. We got 19 on TikTok. Stang says they will make it. Tony says, you think they brought Demidov over from Russia and burn a year of his contract to not make the playoffs? Yeah, I don't think it really makes a difference, Tony, to be quite honest with you. Do the Flames sneak in? Probably not. Montreal's got to muster more shots, otherwise you're done. Yeah, well, they had well, again, I'm not. They didn't. Shots are not a very accurate stat as far as indicating how that game went tonight. So, Peter, do you not believe that there was a cross check on Suzuki and OT just before the Leafs went on to win? Yeah, I don't know if I would have said it was a cross check. I mean, maybe a holding. They definitely hauled him down on the side of the net, Peter, and then held him down, and he ended up losing his stick. But again, the referees had already demonstrated that they weren't going to call any penalties that late in the game, and they certainly weren't going to call anything against Toronto at that stage. So you're at the same stage the Leafs were in 16-17, Matthews' first year. They got in the playoffs. Yeah, not at all, Wendell. Not even remotely close. The Maple Leafs have never really done a proper rebuild. again, them drafting Matthews, Marner, and Nylander have certainly, changed the face of the organization, but they certainly never engaged in a rebuild in any way remotely similar to what the Canadiens are in the process of doing right now. They've already burnt the year, Dono. The year is burnt. The contract is signed. Whether he plays or not, the year is burnt. Zachary, I really enjoyed the game tonight. I did too, Zach. It was a pretty fun game to watch. Obviously, the result could have been better, but Wendell says, passez une excellente soirée. J'espère sincèrement que vous participerez aux séries éliminatoires. Merci beaucoup, Wendell. Moi aussi, j'espère que ça va arriver. Alors, bonsoir. J'espère que vous avez souscrit à la canal pour nous autres. Et peut-être on va vous voir aussi dans les séries dans le deuxième round. Am I miscalculating and thinking that the Wings are eliminated? The Wings, I believe, are now officially... let me see. So the Wings have 3 games left. And they have 81 points. So yes, they would be officially eliminated. It just doesn't appear to be marked on the NHL website yet. Hudson has been shut out last 4 games. Celebrini scoring points in bunches. Okay. Hudson played a very good defensive role tonight. I thought the game on Friday was not his best. The game yesterday, I don't think he had a very good game, but I thought he played well tonight, defensively and offensively. Nobody really was doing a ton offensively tonight, but he definitely was a big part of the Canadiens' scoring opportunities tonight. Yes, Peter, the referees were not very good tonight. You enjoyed the Domi fight, Zachary. Okay. Who do you think won the fight? Antoine, we got the single point at least and could win in Chicago to move to the playoffs. Yes, so the single point definitely gets the Canadiens a step closer. That's what they're looking for. And, they're not going to Chicago. The game is in Montreal, as Peter points out. So let's get to the scoreboard, guys, real quick. Domi won, Thursday. Okay, if you say so. I thought it was probably a draw. With Slavkovsky struggling again, do you think MSL... Again, I don't see Slavkovsky as struggling, man. I don't know where we're drawing the conclusion that Slavkovsky's struggling. He was, I thought, one of the better players on the ice for the Canadiens tonight. I thought he played quite well. So here's your scoreboard, guys. So the scoring side of things obviously is pretty quiet. No scoring in either of the first 3 periods. And then the only goal of the game in overtime by Mitch Marner, his 39th of the year from Nylander and Tavares at 36 seconds of the overtime. So we're going to talk. Guys, if you're over on TikTok, you got to come over to YT. We're going through graphics that are on the screen here now. If you're on YT, the channel is called Recliner Sports 4. You'll be able to see the scoreboard. You'll be able to see the A-team. You'll be able to see all the graphics. Unfortunately, I can't pay attention to the questions over on TikTok at the moment because we are doing that. But again, if you want to come over and get in the comment section over here on TikTok or on YT, you can definitely do that. Open your YT app and go to Recliner Sports 4, and you should have no problem finding it. So, so as I said, Mitch Marner with his 39th of the year, Nylander and Tavares. Again, a lot of people are looking at the shots as an indication that the Canadiens were dominated in this game. I don't think that's necessarily the case. The Corsi tonight was even at 57. That means that the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs directed the same number of shots towards the goal. The Fenwick was 43-37, which means that there were the Leafs were only slightly ahead in shots towards the goal that weren't blocked. And the high danger scoring chances were only 14-13 in favor of the Maple Leafs. So again, basically tied on that level. The expected goals were 4.42 to 2.89. Again, relatively close, especially when you consider the additional power plays that the Toronto Maple Leafs got, and in particular the two-man power play that they got, which would have led to some scoring chances and some scoring expected goals there. So, all in all, the shots certainly favored heavily the Maple Leafs, but perhaps there's a little bit more to the story than all of that. And if you look at the entirety of everything, all the different stats together in conjunction with one another, then the game certainly was a lot closer than the shot clock would seem to indicate. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, if you want me to explain any of those stats, let me know. But they're relatively self-explanatory. But the game was basically pretty even from beginning to end. So. Luciano, great point. No matter how it ends, the season is a success. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, Luciano. The season is a success. Obviously there's going to be disappointment. If they don't make the playoffs. I mean, again, I think it's a bit of a long shot for them to miss. The Habs were completely dominated outside of a few shifts. Toronto never throws a lot of shots. Yeah, the reality of reality doesn't seem to be on your side as far as that's concerned, Scott. As far as puck possession and shots directed towards the goal, they don't indicate a team completely dominating. So, if you have other evidence to prove otherwise, then I'm happy to consider it. But like I said, reality is not on your side on this one. Gouli is my pick for the player of the game. Yeah, I considered Gouli greatly. I actually don't have him on my A team, but I thought he had a really good game as well. Certainly the hits stood out. He blocked a few shots tonight, but I thought there were other guys who perhaps contributed a little bit more. Slav just floats around. Yeah, it's just, again, reality is not on your side on that one, Matthew Ferguson. You don't get 50 points in the NHL by just floating around. Tonight, Slavkovsky had the third best expected goals for percentage. He had the third best scoring chances for percentage, and he had the third best high danger chances for percentage on the team. He also was in the top 5 in Corsi for, as well as Fenwick for. So he was in the top 3 in basically every advanced statistical category tonight. Rest in peace, Greg Millen, solid broadcaster and decent goalie. He was a very good goalie. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, I thought he was like older, and then then I was like, wait a minute, he's not that. And he's only 67. That's tough. You want me to explain the stats, Mark? So let's go back here for a second then. I'll go over them quickly. So Corsi basically is you get a Corsi point for every time you direct a shot towards the other team's goal, whether it's blocked, whether it hits the net, or whether it misses the net. You get a Corsi. You get a Fenwick basically for every time you shoot a puck towards the goal and it doesn't get blocked. So basically, shots on goal plus shots that miss the net, but not blocked. So basically, those two stats are kind of designed to indicate, possession and who's carrying the play, right? Like if you're directing more pucks towards the other team's goal, the presumption is that you're carrying the play and that you're possessing the puck a little bit more. Unfortunately, there's no free website or free site that has possession stats. Like there's not one that says how much each team possesses. So when it comes to determining who's carrying the play and so on, Corsi and Fenwick are kind of your best options. High danger scoring chances are basically shots on goal or shots towards the goal from specific areas on the ice, right? So basically sort of, in that crease area and so on and so forth. Not a great stat really because, it doesn't account for a lot of other things. It's just basically where does the shot come from? Expected goals, it depends on the model that you're using. There's a number of different models for expected goal. Depends on what model is being used. Sorry, guys. The model I use typically is Natural Stats Trick. Another one is Money Puck. Some are more accurate. Some are not more accurate. They're all accurate, I guess, in their own way. But some take into account a greater number of factors. So like things like where did the shot come from? What angle did the shot come from? What was the speed of the shot? What happened? What preceded the shot? Like, is it a one-timer? Is it a rush? Did it come off of a rush? All kinds of different things like that. If it was a one-timer, where did the pass come from? Where did the pass come from? Either way, like, did the goalie have to move? Like, all that kind of stuff. So, basically it assigns points to all of those different things and gives you an expected goal number that, adds up over the course of a game. So tonight, based on the Natural Stat Trick algorithm or model for expected goals, based on all of the considerations that they take into account, they would have expected, on average for the Toronto Maple Leafs to have scored 4.4 goals tonight in all situations. So including power play and everything else. They would have expected the Canadiens to score 2.89. So that's kind of the way those stats work. I don't know if that's provides you with a decent explanation, but that's basically, a quick explanation of what those stats mean. Tonight was the last time we'll see Pizzetta, so that's a silver lining. Again, I don't like to dance on people's graves. Frankly, I mean, I thought Pizzetta's done everything that this organization has ever wanted him to do. He clearly isn't good enough to be here much longer. But that's not something that I'm going to sort of take any type of joy in. I mean, he's a young man trying to live out his dream of being an NHL hockey player. So again, I'm not going to take pleasure in it and make jokes about it and be flippant about it. I think you're probably wrong. I think we probably, again, if they would have clinched tonight, we probably would have seen Pizzetta play a little bit more. I do not watch much QMJHL anymore, Duggan. No, not anymore. I used to. Yeah, if they'd clinched, I think you probably would have seen Pizzetta play in each of the last two games. But now I think that Demidov likely takes his spot, and you'll probably see Kapanen move down to the fourth line, assuming that Heineman is still injured. Matthew, the Habs just couldn't get their shots through. The shots on goal were misleading tonight. Yeah, well, they couldn't get their shots through. They also, missed the net quite a bit tonight, which was a problem and something they need to work on. Yeah, I thought the Leafs did a really, really good job of blocking or plugging up the shooting lanes as well. So, Peter says Carrier, Matheson, Struble, and Newhook as the A team. Okay, I think you're 0 for 4 on that, Peter. I don't have any of those guys. Dobesh, Struble, Matheson, and Carrier as the A team. I believe there you are. You're 1 for 4. You're getting better. You're getting better, Peter. Tristan didn't realize Marner has so many goals this year. He's having a great season. Yeah, he's a good hockey player, man. People get tied up in this whole narrative about him in the playoffs, and they think that it means he's not a good hockey player. Mitch Marner's a really good hockey player. the biggest issue for him is that they haven't surrounded him with, the types of players that you need to surround a guy like him with in order to succeed, at playoff time, right? They spent way too much money on 4 guys, and they don't have the money to spend on the right, secondary guys to put around, those types of players. And, Mitch Marner's a smaller guy. He's not a big physical guy. He's pretty responsible defensively and does, good things on the defensive side of the puck. But, he's not built, for playoff style hockey, which is not a problem. There's lots of guys who aren't built for that, but you have to put the right guys around them if you want to, want them to succeed. I looked up Millen's Hockey DB, career GA 388, save percentage 873. He did have 1 All-Star appearance and finished 5th in Vezina. I'll meet you very good with a good goal. Well, I'd invite you to have a look and see how those statistics match up with other goalies of the same time, Morgan. Again, he was how many games did he play in the NHL? That should be, let's have a look. Greg Millen, DB. Yeah, so 600 games in the NHL. He's more than just he's a pretty solid goalie. He was a starter in the NHL for a long time. Goals against averages were significantly higher back in those days. Save percentages were usually, substantially lower, unless your name was, he didn't play on a lot of great teams either, right? He played on some, pretty soft teams back in the day. So Tristan's A team is Suzuki, Evans, Dobesh, and Hudson. Suzuki, Evans, Dobesh, Hudson. 3 of 4. The Blue Jackets are the only team left in the mix. Asim, you are correct. Marner will not show up in the playoffs. Has proved it over the years. Again, maybe you didn't listen. It's not Marner is fine in the playoffs. The thing is, Marner is not a guy. You need to surround him with the right guys. You need to have the right players out there with him. You don't go from being a 100-point guy in the regular season to a bad hockey player in the playoffs. He's okay in the playoffs as far as production goes, but his production sinks in the playoff because the other team can sort of focus in on him, and he doesn't have the right guys around him to complement him. So again, I don't think it's a matter of him not being a playoff performer or being soft or being whatever. It's, there's a lot more to it than that. Poor Heineman wasn't the same since his injury either. Before he got hurt, he kind of reminded me of Lehkonen. So hopefully he can regain his form. Yeah, he's been hurt twice now, right? So, but yeah, Heineman was having a pretty good season prior to the car accident in Utah, and he's kind of, I don't want to say he's struggled, but he certainly hasn't been as good since that injury. Tovoj, welcome. I haven't seen you here in a while. It's been a while, I think. I wish Habs would had that level of compete yesterday against the Sens. Yeah, they struggled early on, especially against the Sens. I think they're, one of their biggest weaknesses remains, consistent effort. It's not effort. I hate using that word. Consistent performance, right? The effort's there, but as a young team, it's hard to be at the highest level night in and night out, right? We wanted them to play meaningful games at this time of the season because these games are high pressure and they're big games. And, the reason they're big pressure, high games is because they're hard to play. And it's hard to, you need to be able to be, to come and perform every night, during those types of games. And that's not always going to be the case when you have a team that's as young as the Montreal Canadiens, right? The last stage for me of a young team becoming a good team or a contender is when they're able to, put their best foot forward all the time, right? Like the teams like Colorado and the teams like Toronto, maybe not Toronto so much, but like Florida, like Tampa, like those veteran, playoff type teams. right? Those are those are the teams that do it night in and night out, right? They don't go and play great one night and then they disappear another night. Obviously, every team has bad nights, but good teams, the veteran teams, the mature teams do it a lot less often. Suzuki, Slav, Dobesh, Hudson. Yeah, you might be getting closer there, Tristan. I know you keep guessing, but Calgary's in the mix. Out west, yeah, they've been in the mix. Good for them. Yeah, that's been they've had a great performance. Thank you, Antoine. You have a great night as well. I appreciate it. Fowler played in Laval. Yes, Fowler won his first game. Laval with a 2-1 victory over the Syracuse Crunch. Jacob Fowler saved 25 of 26 shots that he faced. The goals were scored by Riley Kidney from Owen Beck and Philippe Méjard, as well as Lucas Condada from Xavier Simoneau and Jared Davidson. And it was a 2-1 game. So those are the two goals for Laval. And the stars were Condada, Tristan Allard for Syracuse, and Riley Kidney. No star for Jacob Fowler. Oh, what does it say? He only made 14 saves. What were the shots? Did he come out of the game? I just don't think they updated it. Did they update it? It scared me there for a second. Yeah, 25 of 26 saves for Jacob Fowler. So, pretty good start. I didn't get to watch it. But yeah, sounds like he had a pretty good start. Marner impressed me at the Four Nations. Yeah, Marner's a good hockey player, guys. I know people love to rag on him, and Canadiens fans especially, but he's a pretty special hockey player. It took Gooley more than a few games to get back to his old self. Yeah, to get all the way back, absolutely. Heineman hasn't played for 4 or 5 games now, so it's, I think they played that so well tonight, but they're still young. They have a few years to do that, in my opinion. Yeah, they're just going to continue to get better, right? Marty St. Louis talked about this. It's that right now they're in. They're learning how to win. They're learning more about the psychological and the mental side of the game than they are about the physical skills and all of that stuff, right? Tony B, I think the Habs were very tactical tonight. What do you mean by that, Tony B? Explain what you mean by that. With Toronto's style of plugging up the neutral zone and zone entries, Montreal needed to dump and chase and force some turnovers, which didn't happen. Yeah. I don't know if it was... I don't know that the Canadiens struggled to enter the zone as much tonight as they did to, get shots towards the net. You're right. They could have used their forecheck a little better to get in there and, get on, especially when you know that Toronto's only playing with 5 defensemen, right? Dump it, soft dump, go in, put pressure on their defensemen, get some hits in if you can. And if you can't, try and get them to rush a pass, rush the breakout a little bit. So, I'm scared for the Habs that Columbus will make the playoffs for the Goudreau Miracle script. Yeah, Aaron, it's maybe, but I don't see. It would be a pretty wild thing to happen. Tap that screen, guys, over on TikTok if you're over there, guys. If you're over here on YouTube, guys, please subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Lots of questions in here tonight. I love it. Lots of good comments. Lots of good conversation. But if you are enjoying it, hit the thumbs up. If you're not, hit the thumbs down. That's good too. This young team can only go up from here. They're the youngest team in the league, but they can only go up. Well, they're getting at the stage now where they could go down, right? Like, if they make the playoffs this year and they don't next year, then, in some ways that'll be viewed as a step backwards. Obviously, there's other, considerations and things to think about, but we'll see. Tony B, they had a game plan. They stuck to it. They simply didn't panic. Yeah, I agree with that. I'd be interested to see what Marty St. Louis' comments were after the game. I didn't get a chance to see them. I will watch them probably tomorrow. And it'll be interesting to see what his thoughts were. But I agree. That's, that is, I mean, again, that is a sign of their maturity, and what they've been doing better lately is that they don't panic, right? They know that if they continue to play their system, that eventually it will pay off. And so they kind of did that tonight. There were a few breaks that they could have gotten that they didn't. But yeah, we'll see. You're not mad about the Habs. I'm not mad about how the Habs performed against the top team in the league right now. Is Toronto the top team in the league? They're the top team in the East. I don't know if I would say they're the top team in the league. Either way, I'm not upset at the way they played either. Obviously, you do need to work on getting more shots on goal. I know shots, like I've said, that shots aren't the big thing, but if you're directing that many shots towards the goal, you need to work on being a little bit more accurate and making them count a little bit more. So let's do the A team, guys. You guys have been waiting for this. Let's get her done. Let's do it. Boom. So there you go, guys. There's tonight's A team from my perspective. I know some of you might disagree, but that's fine. We're not all here to agree. If you have, if there's anyone there that you think shouldn't be there, let me know. If there's anyone there you think should be there, let me know. Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, Juraj Slafkovsky, Jacob Dobesh. Those are your members of tonight's A team. So, Suzuki, again, just, the leader of the team, carries the team. He's always, at the top of the list when it comes to all of the stats. Tonight was no different. He was on the ice for 13 high danger chances 7 high danger chances 8, 4 and 4 against. Just, again, a typical Nick Suzuki game. Led the forwards in ice time with 21:51. He killed penalties tonight. He, is doing double duty on the power play, and had, another typical Nick Suzuki game. Lane Hudson, again, his offense hasn't been, it's hard. I mean, just because he hasn't had a point in 2 games doesn't mean, again, he's held us to a high standard here. But his defense was fantastic tonight. He had another 23 minutes on the ice tonight. Again, all of the advanced stats were positive for him tonight. Juraj Slafkovsky, again, a lot of people seem to think that he's not playing well. I don't see it. I mean, he's not playing amazing. He's not playing. He's not popping off the screen the way he can and the way he has at times. But he's still playing solid hockey, right? 18 minutes of ice time tonight, 70% Corsi for, 68.6 Fenwick for, 57% shots for. He wasn't on the ice for any goals for or against, obviously. Expected goals, 69.8% for, and 12-5, so 70, almost 71% scoring chances for, and 67% high danger chances for. So the Canadiens do a lot better when Juraj Slafkovsky's on the ice. Obviously, he's benefiting from being on that line with Suzuki and Caulfield. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But he's part of that group too, and he's one of the reasons why that line is also doing well. That's why I have him again on the on the A team for tonight. So he and Caulfield had similar numbers. His numbers were just a touch better than Caulfield's tonight. And of course, Jakub Dobeš for the second game in a row, very solid. Kept the Canadiens in the game. Say what you want about the quality of the scoring chances that the Maple Leafs were getting. They weren't really high danger ones, but you still have to make the saves, right? When you get 35 shots on goal, whether they're high danger chances or medium danger chances or low danger chances, you still need to make those saves. And tonight, in all situations, Dobeš had 35 shots against. He made 34 saves. He saved all 10 high danger chances. He saved all 11 low danger chances. Believe it or not, they called the goal, the Mitch Marner goal, they called that a low danger chance. So he was only 11 of 12 on low danger chances. So again, a really nice game by Jakub Dobeš. He's proving to be a very, very capable backup and is potentially moving his way towards someday being in a bigger role on this team. What that is, we shall see. So. That's my thoughts as well. It could have gone better. Certainly, I wish they did better, but they did good. Dobeš did awesome. Agreed completely. Dobeš save percentage was great. Yeah, I agree. We're drying up on the questions here now, guys. Are we running out of gas a little bit tonight? We went out hard, and now we're running out of gas. We only got 9 people over on YT. We still have 9 people over on TikTok. The Leafs are betterer than the Habs. Yes, they are, PokerStar. You just figuring that out now? I love it when Maple Leafs come and they think that they're hurting my feelings when they say that the Maple Leafs are better than the Montreal Canadiens. Well, no duh. Of course they're they're better than the Habs. Right now they are. I don't think there's any debate about that. You're not really saying anything groundbreaking or earth-shattering when you say that. Anybody with half a brain knows that, but whatever. Abby Newhook, the brother of Alex, is eligible for the next PWHL. The sister of Alex, you mean? There you go. Yes, you changed it there. That's cool. Good for her. Hopefully she gets drafted. All right, gang. So the last thing I want to look at before we end the show, maybe if you don't mind, is the standings. And as we mentioned earlier, stand by. The standings now indicate, and this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So, despite what this says here, the Red Wings are out. So they've only got 81 points, and they've got 3 games to play. So the maximum number of points they could possibly get would be 87 points, right? They could get 6 points if they won all 3 of their remaining games, which would bring them to 87 points, which would not get them ahead of the Canadiens. So despite the fact that there's still no E next to their name there, they are eliminated. The Rangers, of course, are eliminated now. Columbus has 3 games left. They have 83 points. So they have a potential of 6 points, which could get them to 89. Right? That could get them to 89. So the Canadiens have to get 1 point in order to tie them. However, 1 point isn't enough because if they get 1 point, they'll end up tied with Columbus. But Columbus will have more regulation wins. So you see the RW next to the P percentage there. That is the number of regulation wins. That is the tiebreaker. So if the Blue Jackets were to win all of their 3 remaining games and the Canadiens were only able to get 1 point out of their remaining 2 games, then they would end up both with 89 points. but Columbus would have the tiebreaker with those last 3 wins because they would have 30 regulation wins and the Canadiens would only have 29. So if Columbus loses, even if they don't, Columbus has to win in regulation. So if Columbus wins in overtime in one of their games, then I don't know what the second tiebreaker is. What's the second tiebreaker? That's a good question. Tie-breaking procedure. The great number of games won. So total wins. So that would be. It might do. Yeah, it's complicated. So even if Columbus won in overtime, they could still have a chance of getting it. So the Canadiens have to get more than 1 point. That would be the ideal situation. But yeah. Anyways, guys, have we? I guess we've just, we kind of stopped talking here, guys. Does nobody really want to be part of this anymore, or what's? We can end the show here now. I just thought I'd go through the standings with you guys. So basically, the Canadiens have to get more than 1 point in order for them to move on. If they get more than 1 point, they'll move on to the playoffs, guaranteed. If Columbus loses. Whether it's in overtime or in regulation, then they will be eliminated. So we shall see. Matthew says the Caps will be out for revenge tomorrow after this afternoon's beatdown if the Jackets somehow win. The Habs have the Hawks Monday with Demidov's NHL debut. The Bell Center will be rocking. Yeah, again, if the Canadiens lose to Chicago and Carolina, then I think they kind of in a way deserve to have their own to have their fate taken out of their own hands, right? Like right now they've got their fate in their own hands. All they have to do is get more than a point. Between the Chicago and they need to get 2 points between the Chicago and the Carolina game, and that basically eliminates the possibility of Columbus winning all 3 of their remaining games and making things interesting. Whether the Caps will be out tomorrow for revenge, who knows? Apparently they're not going to be resting all their players tomorrow like they did today. Certainly they won't be playing the Zamboni driver in goal like they did this afternoon. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes, right? Can the Habs catch up to the Sens? They cannot. They cannot. So even if the Canadiens win their remaining 2 games, you can come over and see the graphic if you would like. Chris, was it? Yeah, you can come see the graphic over here if you like. But essentially, if you look at it here, you'll see the Canadiens have 88 points and the Senators have 92. So even if the Canadiens win their remaining 2 games and the Senators lose their remaining 3 games, they would both end up with 92 points, but the Senators would have more regulation wins at 34, and they would therefore carry the tiebreaker. So the Canadiens no longer have the ability to catch the Senators for that first wild card spot. All right, so I guess that's going to be just about it for the show tonight, guys. Thank you very much for being here, gang. I do appreciate all of your questions and comments. We had a pretty good crew, big crew. Obviously, the crew is always good, but we had a pretty big crew in here earlier, which was awesome. Lots of questions, lots of comments. Things are kind of slowed down here a little bit. We're after midnight here in Nova Scotia. We've been on for about an hour and a half now. But no, it's great to talk to all of you. Again, it would have been nice to get a win tonight and to be able to talk about the playoffs with a level of certainty, but unfortunately, that's not the case for us here. The Toronto Maple Leafs decided they wanted to spoil the party a little bit. They get a 1-0 victory in overtime. The Canadiens, didn't play an amazing game, but they didn't play a bad game either. While the shots on goal certainly favored the Maple Leafs, the high danger chances and the scoring chances were pretty evenly matched between the two teams. On n'a pas eu l'opportunité de répondre à beaucoup de questions en français ce soir. J'aurais aimé avoir l'opportunité de faire ça. C'est une émission bilingue pour tout le monde ici. Alors, si vous avez des questions en français dans le futur, vous pouvez les poser et on va vous répondre en français. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much once again. If you are watching the show here on YT and you're not yet subscribed, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching in a replay, I would certainly invite you to do so. The subscription button is just down here below the screen. If you enjoy having intelligent, objective conversations about the Montreal Canadiens and hockey in general, that's what we're trying to provide for everybody, a place where you can do that, have objective conversations about the games and about the Montreal Canadiens. It's been an exciting time to be a Canadiens fan, and it's been fun talking about it. And the more people we can have here to do that, the better. I think the conversations are better the more people we have, and we certainly are trying to grow our little community here. We're somewhere around 330, 340 subscribers. We're trying to get to 500, which will then allow us to do some of the funky, fun stuff that YouTube allows. And so we would invite you all to do that if you're watching live or in a replay. I understand not everybody can watch live. And if you are watching after the fact, then we would certainly invite you to join our little group, our little family, and be a part of what we got going on here. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do so. Show us your love. If you enjoy the show, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching live or in a replay, that would be amazing. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Thank you, Matthew. In my opinion, the second wild card is the better of the two. That way you avoid the whole Atlantic Division. Yeah, again, it's just I think at this point the Canadiens are just, playing their game, and however it falls out, right? They're not really worried about that, I don't think. It was a heartbreaking one, Jacob. I agree. It was a tough one. It would have been a lot more fun to be talking about the Canadiens, in the playoffs with certainty tonight than it is about sort of wondering about what's going to happen over the next few days with Columbus. So, but I think they're still in pretty good position. They put themselves in a pretty good spot. They still control their own destiny. And Monday's game, while it would have been a lot nicer that if it would have been less meaningful, we wanted them to play meaningful games, and that's what they're doing. So that's going to be it for tonight. I do appreciate you guys on YT. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you all over on TikTok. If you do want to join us on YT and you want to be a part of this, you want to be a part of the show in the future, we go live after every Canadiens game with Habs After Dark, and every Wednesday we do a show called Habs Therapy Day. And like I said, if you want to come over to YT, the channel is called Recliner Sports 4. If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll get notified whenever the show goes live. But usually we're on the air 5 to 10 minutes after the games end, and we talk about the game. We have a good conversation here. We open it up to YT, to Twitch, and to TikTok. But again, the best way to participate and to be involved in the show is on YT. So that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you on Monday evening. Peace out.
To Hoffman, Monahan parked in front, docks to Caulfield, fires, scores!
You are about to enter Habs After Dark with Recliner Sports.